and we don't. I don't know of any copywriter, really successful copywriter, who's managed to get where they are without having some kind of support network around them. And by support network, I don't just mean family and immediate friends. I mean other professionals, a professional network to support them. So, a network supports you and feeds you work and opportunities. And as the saying goes, your network is your net worth. And that's pretty true. So let's look at some strategies and some tactics for growing your network. So first of all, curate, don't accumulate. So think about what you want to achieve, and then as you build out your network, don't go for volume. 5,000 connections on LinkedIn means nothing if you don't know those people or interact with those people. 50 connections on LinkedIn can be extraordinarily powerful if you truly connect with those people. All right. So you're going to curate the people, the type of people you want to add to your network. You're not going to go for volume. You're not just going to accumulate. So you have this vanity number of, oh my goodness, I've got 5,000, connections on LinkedIn. That won't help you at all. Next up, offer first, ask later. This is like kind of any relationship. Just don't go into a network or set up someone you want to network with and ask them for stuff. Give stuff first, offer first, give before you ask. And that's how you build trust. You build trust by adding value. And once you've given them enough and you've built that trust, then you can ask. Then you can say, hey, can I have your perspective on such and such? Be visible, not loud. The whole point of being a sovereign freelancer is building that brand and your messaging and being visible and being separate from the crowd. But that's not the same as being loud. Being loud is almost kind of being obnoxious. You don't want to be the loud person at the party, at the event. You want to be the high value person, the sovereign person that people seek out and listen to, and they want to hear what you have to say. So definitely you can't be the shrinking wallflower. You absolutely have to be visible, but not loud, not obnoxious, not pushy. Next up, digital and real world. In my experience, the best connections I've made have been in real life at events. And I will often go to a lot of expense and a lot of trouble to be at an event so I can connect with people, in real life and shake them by the hand and look them in the eye and have a conversation. That isn't always possible. So then we go back to digital and services like Zoom have certainly helped in that regard. It's not the same, but it helps. Micro connections matter. Don't always go for the big fish. Don't always try to land the big fish for your network. It may be nice when it happens, but these micro connections can be important too. Maybe you're on a Zoom call and it's a group call and you're talking with a client and there are three other people on the client side there. And somebody that you don't know but is part of the group says something that at the time you think, hey, well, that's really interesting, but you didn't feel it was appropriate to sort of dive deeper on that call. But maybe you can reach out to that person, say, "Hey, you mentioned X, Y, and Z. I find that really interesting. Can you tell me more about that?" So that's a micro connection that it can actually lead to something really important down the road. And then maybe that person will in time become a very valuable member of your network and you can help them and they can help you. So don't always get blinded by the celebrity connection for your network. Also seek out those micro connections that can really lead to something big. So networking, it's a sovereignty multiplier. Like I say, we can't do this alone. And the people that comprise your network come from various different places. It could be your peers. It could be other copywriters. Sometimes people say to me, "Hey, Nick, aren't they your competitors?" And I guess they are. But we don't compete within the network. We help each other. We say, "Hey, what have you heard? What's new? What's happening?" So probably a good proportion of my core network are my competitors. They're fellow digital copywriters. Clients, some clients come and go, other clients you work with for years, and you get to know and trust each other. It's kind of a long friendship, even on a professional basis. And they become part of your network. And I've been in a situation where clients or former clients have helped me out. And also I've been able to help. There was one client who was a wonderful client for years. And I had the opportunity when she left one job and I introduced her to the person who hired her for her next job. So, hey, your network can come from anywhere. Mentors, maybe you've been fortunate enough to have mentors in your life, in your career, who've been generous and helped you. Include them and try to give back to them. Mastermind groups can be really helpful. Community groups, like you see on the right there. Be the real you. Would you send a robot to a networking event? I don't think so. So why be robotic in your communications with other people that you want to network with? I talked about this before with regard to LinkedIn. Is, whenever there is any kind of client-facing communication, I make sure it's me, it's my voice. And it's the same if I'm trying to build a network, if I'm networking with people, I make sure it's me, my voice, and it's not automated. Because trust comes from being authentic, and long-term relationships depend on trust. So promote less, comment and share more. I said right at the beginning under strategies and tactics, that the whole thing about giving before you ask. So a lot of companies, a lot of individuals attempted to use platforms like LinkedIn and other social networks as promotional platforms to say, hey, here's my thing, buy my thing, sign up for my thing, join me on my webinar. And that can work to a degree, but it's no way to build a network. That's just promotion. All right. It's not a good way to build relationships and to draw people into your core network. So promote less, comment and share more, be generous. Reach higher, but not too high. I might want to connect with Bill Gates. Well, good luck. I don't think he's going to connect back to me. So, yes, I'll try to reach a few steps above myself sometimes if I'm after, if I think, man, I would love to just have an opportunity to, to talk with this person. So yeah, I'm going to maybe reach up a little bit, someone a little bit better connected than me, a little more famous or doing better than me in some regard. But I also want to be open to other people at my level who want to connect with me. They can become valuable members of my network. And I want to be supportive of people who just started out and are reaching up to me and saying, hey, Nick, will you connect with me? So for, when I'm going for the core of my network, I might reach up a little bit, but I want to be open to other people as well. And I want to be generous to people who are starting out because that's the basis of a good network. And some of those people who are just starting out, in 2 or 3 years, they may turn out to be very, very valuable members of a network. If you can't meet in person, connect on Zoom. As I said, I try to get to physical events. Sometimes I'm the speaker, so it's easy because it's paid for. Other times I've actually taken out my credit card and I've got on the plane and I've gone to events because I see the value in actually being there in person and connecting with people. So if you can't, then jump on Zoom and similar platforms. They're not the same, but they are a reasonable second. Also, and I've touched on this a few times, is take the initiative in maintaining relationships. So certainly in starting the relationship, but also in maintaining the relationship. Don't wait for others. Sometimes I've got into this silly kind of headspace of thinking to myself, hey, Jack hasn't reached out to me for months or for weeks or for 6 months or for a year. I've reached out to him 3 times before that. So I'm just going to wait for him. Uh, and I kind of get it, but it's a little immature of me when I do that. And I'm probably not alone in doing that. So sometimes I just say, okay, and I reach out. And sometimes there's good reasons. People get busy, people are unwell, people are changing jobs. So don't just sit around waiting for other people to take the initiative. And indeed, the original connection. Don't wait for someone else to connect. Try to connect with you. You can reach out. But the biggest thing for me is that I'm not shy. Again, I'm not pushy. I'm not obnoxious. I'm not loud. At least I don't think I am. But I reach out to people that I'm connected with and say, "Hey, it's been a few months since we talked. Shall we chat? Shall we jump on Zoom? Or if they're local, shall we go and grab a coffee and have a talk?" So yes, step up, send out the invitations, be proactive in maintaining relationships and maintaining the network. Because as we know in all walks of life, whether professionally or personally, relationships need work. You can't just assume somebody's going to be there for you when you haven't spoken to them for the last 12 months. So yeah, take the trouble to lean in and maintain the relationship. And part of this is about being sovereign. So to be sovereign, you need to stand tall and lead from the front. You don't want to blend into the crowd of the network. You want to be seen as a leader. So you step forward and have something interesting to help and helpful to share. To be sovereign is to lead. You want to be at the front. This is what separates you from the crowd. But you can't do this alone. You can lead from the front, but you need other people around you to help you, to support you. There is this myth of the freelancer being the person who can do everything on their own. And you can get a certain distance, you can reach a certain point on your own, but you can't be as successful as you have the potential to be alone. So yes, be sovereign, but don't isolate yourself. Lead your own business, but stay connected with others. Your network really is a very, very powerful multiplier when it comes to your success and your future. Okay, in the next session, we are going to talk about achieving financial sovereignty for freelancers, and I will see you there.